Tesla's Optimus program is approaching a major milestone, with the Gen 3 version expected to debut this July as the company's first genuinely production-ready humanoid robot. According to Elon Musk, this generation should be capable of handling roughly 100 different tasks each day, thanks to its ability to learn independently and pass new skills along to the rest of the robot fleet through a dedicated training system he calls Optimus Academy. Musk has floated ambitious future uses for the machine, from preparing daily meals to tidying an entire house after a single spoken command, while repeatedly stressing that the deeper objective is achieving near-human precision across a wide range of ordinary tasks. Musk has also worked to clear up confusion about which version the public has actually seen so far. He confirmed on social media that the robots demonstrated publicly are versions 2 and 2.5, not Gen 3, which has yet to be unveiled. He believes Optimus 3 is the version suited for mass manufacturing, potentially reaching production volumes around 1 million units per year. Version 2.5 already brought noticeable upgrades: a smoother, less industrial exterior, fewer exposed cables, rounder and friendlier proportions, and integration with xAI's voice assistant, allowing the robot to respond to spoken questions, even though its replies remain somewhat slow and occasionally awkward. Gen 3 is expected to go further, walking more naturally, running on Tesla's new AI-5 computer, and featuring far more human-like hands, moving the robot closer to a finished consumer product than an engineering prototype. The more significant ambition, however, isn't flashy locomotion or conversation, it's genuine physical competence. Many humanoid robots coming out of Chinese manufacturers demonstrate impressive athleticism, sprinting, performing backflips, boxing, and dancing, but that kind of spectacle doesn't necessarily translate into everyday usefulness. A robot capable of acrobatics might still struggle to wash a dish, crack an egg without crushing it, or figure out how to open a refrigerator, grab ingredients, and operate a stove. Tesla's stated goal with Optimus 3 is to build a robot suited for repetitive, tedious, or physically demanding labor that people would rather not do themselves. Reaching that point requires solving one of robotics' hardest problems: functioning competently in environments that were designed entirely around human bodies and habits. The robot has to identify objects, judge distances and textures, and calibrate grip strength on the fly. Tasks that feel effortless to people, like handling an egg or timing food on a stove, are actually long chains of fine-tuned decisions where a small miscalculation, gripping too hard, rotating a wrist at the wrong angle, reacting a fraction of a second too late, can lead to real problems. This is why the next generation hands-on Optimus Gen 3 matters so much. Tesla has already pushed the walking speed of version 2.5 to around 2.6 miles per hour while upgrading its leg actuators and battery pack, but Gen 3 is expected to raise the bar further still. Musk has hinted at a next-generation hand design that Tesla believes could set a new standard for humanoid robotics, since a robot that can walk but can't manipulate objects precisely remains little more than an expensive demonstration. Many competitors have focused heavily on mobility and athletic performance while underinvesting in hand design, even though it's ultimately the hands that determine whether a humanoid robot is actually useful for tasks like folding laundry, wiping a table, picking up a glass, or loading a dishwasher. Tesla is reportedly aiming for around 22 degrees of freedom in its next-generation hand, allowing for far greater dexterity than typical industrial grippers. Musk has noted that building one highly dexterous robotic hand in a lab is difficult enough, but manufacturing hundreds of thousands or millions of consistent, reliable hands at scale is an entirely different and far harder engineering challenge. Rather than using generic components throughout the robot, Tesla is developing custom actuators tailored to different parts of the body, since hips, shoulders, wrists, and fingers each demand very different characteristics. The hips need torque for balance, the shoulders need smooth natural motion, the wrists need flexibility, and the fingers need extreme precision. Even the most capable hands are useless without a brain fast enough to process the world in real time, which is why the shift to Tesla's new AI-5 computer could be one of the most important upgrades in Gen 3. A robot carrying a tray or holding a glass can't afford to wait on a cloud server to decide how to react when a child suddenly runs by, so those decisions need to happen instantly on board. Self-driving cars already face a difficult perception and reaction challenge, but humanoid robots add another layer of complexity because they must physically interact with real objects, real weight, and real people in constantly changing environments. A self-driving car mainly needs visual intelligence, while Optimus needs both visual and motor intelligence running simultaneously, which multiplies the computational demands. If AI-5 can process large amounts of data locally while keeping power consumption low, it could make Optimus significantly faster, safer, and more autonomous, pushing it beyond staged demo videos and into genuine real-world work. To learn as many as 100 tasks a day, Tesla is relying on what amounts to a data flywheel rather than manually programming every possible scenario. The idea is that Optimus robots go to work, make mistakes, and generate data from those mistakes, which Tesla uses to improve its software and push updates back out to the entire fleet. Skills learned by one robot, whether transporting parts in a factory, serving food at a Tesla diner, or vacuuming a house, get folded into a centralized learning system and shared across all units. Musk has suggested Tesla could eventually field somewhere between 10,000 and 30,000 Optimus robots running this kind of self-play and task testing simultaneously. A single standalone robot would learn slowly, but a fleet of thousands operating across factories, restaurants, and warehouses generates enormous amounts of real-world data every day, and the more robots working, the faster the whole system improves. Judged against the current humanoid robot landscape, Optimus faces some clear competition. Boston Dynamics Atlas stands about 6.2 feet tall, weighs roughly 198 pounds, offers 56 degrees of freedom, a reach of about 7.5 feet, and roughly 4 hours of battery life, positioning it as a heavy-duty industrial robot suited for factories and production lines rather than a household kitchen. Unitree, meanwhile, is applying pressure from the opposite direction with far cheaper machines. Its G1 stands about 4.3 feet tall, weighs 77 pounds, offers 23 to 43 degrees of freedom depending on configuration, roughly 2 hours of battery life, and starts around $13,500, while its R1 starts at just $4,900. Even though the R1 isn't a complete service robot, it demonstrates that a humanoid form factor with basic movement, cameras, microphones, and processors can be packaged far more cheaply than previously assumed, putting pressure on Tesla to keep Optimus Gen 3 pricing credible rather than promising a future price drop to $20,000 to $30,000 that never materializes. Tesla's broader strategy doesn't require Optimus to do everything from day one. It just needs to perform a handful of economically valuable, repetitive tasks reliably, feeding data back into the system so improvements can be pushed across the entire fleet, building a continuously learning robotic network rather than simply selling individual units. Alongside Optimus, Tesla's Cyber Cab program is also progressing quickly. More than 150 Cyber Cabs are now operating within Gigafactory Texas, autonomously traveling around 1.5 miles from the production line to end-of-line charging stations before delivery, while additional units have been spotted on public streets in San Francisco, Las Vegas, and Austin, including one recent video showing a Cyber Cab with no steering wheel or pedals driving on public roads. Beyond these visible milestones, several less obvious engineering choices could give Tesla a real advantage. One of the most important is a shift from a traditional 12 to 16-volt low-voltage electrical system to a 48-volt lithium-ion architecture powering the vehicle's computers, sensors, and electronics. Because a Cyber Cab must continuously run dozens of cameras, its self-driving computer, control units, climate systems, and other modules nearly around the clock, higher voltage reduces current by roughly 75% for the same power output, cutting heat generation, energy waste, and the thickness of wiring required. This change alone could cut wiring weight by 30 to 50% per vehicle, and at a scale of 1 million robot axes per year, the copper savings could amount to tens of thousands of tons and potentially billions of dollars, while also delivering steadier power for the onboard AI computer during demanding driving situations. Interestingly, while the Cybertruck uses an 800-volt system, Cyber Cab has stuck with Tesla's proven 400-volt platform, reflecting a preference for economic value over sheer specification. Because cyber cabs operate as part of a centrally managed fleet that can return to a depot for charging during off-peak hours, ultra-fast charging matters less than it does for privately owned vehicles, and reusing the mature 400-volt platform validated across millions of Model 3 and Model Y vehicles lets Tesla avoid rebuilding manufacturing infrastructure while lowering component costs, an advantage rivals building all-new platforms at low volume will struggle to match. Tesla has also dropped wireless phone charging in favor of USB-C ports, a small change that eliminates standby power loss, heat, and alignment failures, potentially saving tens of millions of dollars in components and maintenance across a million-vehicle fleet. Camera cleanliness is another area receiving unusual attention, since Cybercab relies entirely on camera-based vision rather than LiDAR. Every exterior camera has its own washer nozzle and compressed air jet that can instantly clear rain, dust, mud, or other debris without requiring the vehicle to stop, an important capability for vehicles expected to operate roughly 20 hours a day in varying weather across highways, city streets, parking garages, airport zones, and even car washes. Tesla has also built in numerous maintenance-friendly details aimed at reducing downtime across a large fleet. Bright orange coolant that makes leaks easy to spot, a manual emergency charging cable release for stuck connectors, dedicated tow points reachable without removing body panels, and flexible wheel covers that both protect against curb damage and allow quick access to wheel nuts and tire valves. Perhaps most notably, Cybercab is designed to manage failures autonomously. When empty, it can drive itself to a charging station or service center, and if it detects a malfunction or loses connectivity, it activates hazard lights, evaluates surrounding traffic, pulls over safely, and contacts Tesla's remote operations center without human intervention, a capability well beyond current driver assistance systems that still require a human to take over during critical faults. Taken together, these two programs reveal a common thread in how Tesla approaches hard engineering problems. Rather than chasing headline-grabbing stunts, whether flashy robot acrobatics or exotic high-voltage components, the company tends to favor whatever choice produces the greatest practical and economic payoff at massive scale. With Optimus, that means prioritizing dexterous, reliable hands and a fast onboard brain over flashy mobility demos, since usefulness in a kitchen or warehouse depends far more on manipulation than on running or jumping. With Cybercab, it means sticking with a proven 400-volt platform, adopting a 48-volt low-voltage system for efficiency, and obsessing over small details like coolant color, wheel covers, and charging ports, since those details compound into large savings once multiplied across a fleet of hundreds of thousands of vehicles. Both efforts lean on the same underlying strategy. Deploy many units into real-world conditions, let them generate data through everyday mistakes, and feed that data back into a system that improves the whole fleet at once. Whether this approach delivers on Musk's timelines remains an open question, given how often Tesla's projections have slipped before, but treating scale itself as the main lever for solving otherwise intractable problems appears quite deliberate across both the humanoid robot and robotaxi efforts overall.